And so we've all had that experience. I have had this experience where I can be quite sensible and be in my right mind, and other times that hasn't been available to me, and not just have I not been able to be composed, but it's like some whole other younger person has emerged. We experience this with other people too, someone that we're in relationship with. And when something has been triggered in them and they don't seem to be the person that we know, and they seem to be someone much younger and much immature, it can be baffling. Like, how can you behave like this? You know better. Well, actually, in those moments, they don't know better. I don't know better when some younger part of me that has an unresolved issue has been triggered or activated. And I know that you will know what I'm talking about. There's been some experience where you've just found yourself back in the schoolyard or on the field, or it's an earlier period of time. Now, some of us think something, there must have been some trauma, or someone's done something terrible and there's something broken about this, and, therapy is needed. Well, I'll say, no, it isn't so. There are aspects of ourselves that cannot mature. We are inside of our own experience and have had a thought or an event where we haven't had the maturation to process it. And you'll understand what I mean, if you've had an experience like me where a young person has said, how did that baby get in there? And how you explain the process of reproduction is different at different ages. Why? Why do you not go into zygotes and chromosome splitting and all of that kind of thing? Because it's just like, what language are you talking? You go, something like, well, the daddy has half the egg and the mummy has half the egg. You get where I'm going with this. And so it's the same with us. If we can understand that this actually is a natural phenomenon, nothing's going wrong, but growing up does not happen without some guidance. In the external world, with children and parents, we know that the models of parenting can hinder or facilitate the maturation process. Yet there are experiences we're having as a child that are inside our own mind, and the adults external to us don't even know we're having that experience. And so what happens is, when we have had some experience where we have caused ourselves some distress, or we have some mistaken thought about ourselves. For example, I remember one time it was my turn to read a paragraph in the class. Everybody's had a turn, and it's like coming up to my turn, and I'm breaking into a sweat with anxiousness, and I look down at the page and it's all blurry, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm not as clever as the other children, I'm gonna, And in that moment, I told myself, I can't read and I'm not as clever as the other children. And I held that belief about myself for a long time, and absolutely no one knew that was my internal experience at the time. No adult outside me could have helped me with that. And when something like that happens to us, that part of us stays right where they are, waiting for us to come back. That part of me that gets activated is waiting for me and only me to come back. And it reminds me of a time when I was young and I got lost in the supermarket. Well, not the supermarket, actually it was Myers, and something had caught my attention, and I'm engrossed in it and turned around, and my mother was gone, and I was in a big panic and didn't know what to do. In those days there weren't mobile phones, and easy ways to find your way home, or it was like I was lost. This was my experience. And I thought, if I will just stand here, all I know to do, I'm just going to wait here and trust she'll come back and find me. She'll remember where I was and come back. And this is what our self is doing. It has stopped right there in time, and it is waiting for you, only you, not some therapist, not some coach, not some teacher, not anybody else's idea. You are the capable parent, and that part cannot grow up without you going back and being with them in the model of what is good parenting, which we would love to show you. What we know from neuroscience and psychology is as within, so without, as without, so within. What this means is things that happen in the external world, in nature, the structure and the process of them also work in the internal world as well. So having looked at what are the actual things that good parents are doing that facilitate the maturation process, we've been able to design a process that is very easy to use and understand so that we can do that parenting for our own inner self. It's a very beautiful process, just like all parents who are in a nurturing and loving energy know it's just a delight. It's not a burden. It's not a thing we've got to fix. And there's 3 key things to do for this type of parenting with self. What I would like to say for now as a tip, if you would just recognize when you're with someone, whether that's at work or someone in your personal life or even yourself, recognize when emotion starts to show up and just pay attention. What kind of age does this kind of response or behaviour feel? And you don't need to have any judgment about that like we did used to in the past and go, oh, that's a bit immature. And we can go, now how I will respond to this person in a supportive way, just like we match how we explain reproduction to different ages, how we might respond to this person, we can go, how would I explain it to someone who's showing up at that particular maturation? And perhaps just have a go at that, very definitely with your own self, and just see what you already innately and intuitively know how to do in being in a parental or nurturing way.